Don't let a woman play you. Recognize these 10 key signs, high-value men. Hey, what's up, Stoics? As Sun Tzu wisely said, if you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles. In the battlefield of relationships, recognizing when someone is playing you is crucial to maintaining your dignity and self-worth. Today, we'll dive into 10 signs every high-value man should know to avoid being taken advantage of. Have you ever felt manipulated or mistreated in a relationship? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let's support each other's growth. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to rise together. Sign 1, when she always has excuses not to spend time with you. It's more than just a busy schedule, it's a test of your value in her life. Work and social time are important, but if she consistently chooses friends or vague obligations over you, it's a clear signal. If she defends her absence with phrases like, "You're tripping," "I'm always busy," or "You know my routine with the girls," she's not maintaining independence, she's minimizing your importance. A high-value man knows that Stoicism teaches us to focus on what's within our control. Ask yourself, are you accepting behavior that compromises your self-respect? Stoicism is about standing firm in your principles, even when emotions make you seek validation. In today's world, excuses pile up quickly. People hide behind screens claiming to be too busy while scrolling endlessly. But the truth is, people make time for what matters. Recognize when she makes spontaneous plans with others, but drags her feet when it comes to you. This is a red flag. Sign 2, repeated excuses. If she constantly says, "I'll make it up to you later," or "We'll hang out next week," but next week never comes, take note. Stoicism teaches us to live with purpose, valuing our time and energy where they will grow. Don't get stuck in the loop of empty promises. Men between the ages of 30 and 65 should approach relationships with clarity and confidence. Letting repeated excuses slide only tells her that you're okay with being a placeholder instead of a priority. Sign 3, emotional independence. High-value men understand that their worth isn't determined by someone else's attention. It comes from their unshakable sense of self. So if you notice these behaviors, don't confront her in desperation. Instead, calmly assess whether the relationship aligns with your values. Stoicism reminds us to focus on what we control, our reactions, choices, and boundaries. Protect your time and show your standards through your actions. A man of purpose and self-respect earns respect not by force, but by the quiet strength of his convictions. If you agree, comment below. High-value man, and let's all aim for the best. If she's hiding you from her world, pay attention. High-value men don't stay in the shadows. Let's talk real. If you've been dating for months and she still hasn't introduced you to her friends or family, that's not just a red flag, that's a full-blown siren. It's not only about meeting her people, it's about what it means. When someone values you, they naturally want you to be part of their world. They'll introduce you to their circle, share stories, let you in. But if she's constantly dodging that or making excuses, she's drawing a line. And that line says, "You're not in my long-term vision." Think about it. In today's dating culture, where fleeting connections are the norm, it's easy to become someone's good time rather than their real thing. Maybe you've seen it happen to a friend, months of laughs, dates, and late-night talks, only to realize she had no intention of ever going deeper. He was there for the fun, but never for the future. That's not connection, that's emotional quicksand. Now let's get stoic for a second. Stoicism teaches us to honor our worth and not chase external validation. But it also teaches awareness, like to recognize when someone's actions don't match our values. A true relationship is built on mutual respect and effort. If she's enjoying your time, your energy, your presence, but keeping you a secret, ask yourself, are you okay with being hidden? Of course, there's another layer here. Maybe she has her own fears or past wounds. Maybe she's built up walls from old scars. And that's valid, but communication is key. If you've had those real talks and still nothing changes, then it's time to be honest with yourself. You deserve someone who's proud to have you in their life, not someone who keeps you tucked away in the background. So what should a high-value man do? First, be clear about your standards. You know your worth. Don't shrink to fit someone else's hesitation. Second, watch her actions more than her words. Words can charm, but actions reveal truth. And finally, remember, stoic happiness isn't about clinging to people who don't see your value. It's about choosing peace, clarity, and strength in yourself. Ask yourself, is this relationship helping me grow? Does it support my peace, my purpose? Because Stoicism isn't just an ancient philosophy, it's a modern way of living with dignity and purpose, especially in love. If you're choosing growth over games, drop a "I am growing" in the comments and share your journey. Let's build each other up. Bonus insight: is her phone always more interesting than you? You've carved out time, made plans, you're trying to be present. But she's glued to her screen, scrolling, texting, half listening. Sound familiar? Here's the tough truth. When you have to compete with a phone for attention, you're not the priority. A woman who values your presence will be present. She'll engage, connect, listen. Because time, your time, is the most precious thing you can give. As Marcus Aurelius once said, you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. Every moment matters. If she can't put her phone down to focus on the moment you're sharing, that says a lot about her respect for your time and energy. High-value connections thrive on mutual presence. It's not about demanding attention, but seeing where she naturally gives it. But let's flip the mirror for a sec. How often do you put your phone away? Respect is a two-way street. Show up fully and expect the same in return. Win in life and love by leading with value. A Stoic Man's Guide. Winning in life and love, something we deeply value here at Win Stoic, starts with becoming the kind of person you want to attract. A high-value man doesn't seek to control others. Instead, he masters his response to them. If you're consistently showing up with respect, presence, and intention, but she's not reciprocating, it's time to take a closer look. As Epictetus wisely said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. So how will you react when the attention, energy, and commitment you give aren't being returned? Picture this. If someone genuinely valued you, they'd make you feel like a priority, like you mattered in their world. That's the energy you deserve. And as a high-value man, that's the standard you should never compromise on. Instead of begging for attention, start attracting someone who sees your worth and meets you halfway. The right woman won't make you question your place in her life. She'll show you with her actions. The silent disrespect. Entertaining other men around you. Here's a hard truth many overlook. If she openly flirts with or entertains other men in your presence, it's not harmless. It's disrespect. Some may excuse it as just being friendly, but don't let that fool you. In relationships, just like in strategy, every move has intention. Whether she admits it or not, her willingness to entertain attention from other men while you're right there tells you everything about where you stand. It's not about controlling her, it's about recognizing boundaries and self-worth. Men typically don't initiate casual conversations with women without a motive, and while she might play it off, her response to those advances is what truly matters. If she allows that attention without concern for your feelings, it's time to step back and reassess the situation. You're not just up against other men, you're up against her perception of your value. A man grounded in Stoic philosophy doesn't engage in emotional drama. He stays calm, sets clear boundaries, and leads with dignity. As Epictetus reminded us, you don't control what happens, you control your response. If she continues this behavior without accountability, it chips away at the foundation of trust and respect. And a relationship without those things, that's not a relationship worth keeping. Respect is earned, not chased. True power lies in subtlety. You don't need to argue, beg, or make threats. Instead, express your concerns with clarity and confidence. Her reaction will tell you everything you need to know. Either she'll adjust her behavior, or you'll realize where her priorities really lie. And here's the key. No matter the outcome, you win. Why? Because you stayed true to yourself. You protected your peace and honored your worth. Modern relationships require a balance of independence and connection. To keep that balance, you must cultivate an unwavering sense of self-worth. Through the lens of Stoicism, we understand that happiness isn't based on someone else's attention. It's rooted in how we choose to live and love with intention. If she only calls when she needs something, that's not love, that's convenience. Here's another red flag. If she only shows up when she needs help, whether it's money, a ride, or someone to lean on, it's time to ask yourself a hard question. Is she really into you, or is she into what you do for her? It might feel good in the moment. You might even tell yourself, at least she needs me. But that's not connection, it's transaction. And you're not her partner, you're her backup plan. Take it from Mike, a successful entrepreneur who lives by Stoic principles. He thought he'd found the perfect woman. She was charming, fun, and sweet when she needed something, but in between, silence. No texts, no calls, no effort. Stoicism reminds us, your value doesn't come from what you give others, it comes from how you carry yourself. High-value men don't settle for relationships built on convenience. They seek balance, mutual respect, and shared purpose. Let's call her Sarah. She had charm, humor, and seemed genuinely interested in Mike, at least in the beginning. But as time passed, a clear pattern began to emerge. Sarah never reached out just to check in, ask how Mike was doing, or make plans for quality time. Her messages always came with a need attached. One day, it was help with her taxes. The next, a favor involving one of Mike's business contacts. At first, Mike was more than happy to help. He believed that's what you do when you care about someone. But weeks turned into months, and the imbalance in their dynamic became impossible to ignore. He realized he was always giving, and she was always taking. That's when Mike, grounded in Stoic principles, made a shift. He stopped offering help automatically and began observing. And just like that, when the favors dried up, so did her affection. It hit him. Her interest was never really in him. It was in what he could do for her. Time to reflect. Are you valued or just useful? Ask yourself this. Are you in a relationship where your worth is tied to what you provide, not who you are? A woman who truly values you won't just show up when she needs help. She'll care about your dreams, your thoughts, your peace of mind. She won't see you as a convenience. She'll see you as a partner. This isn't about being stingy or refusing to support your partner. It's about knowing the difference between genuine appreciation and strategic dependency. Spot the signs early. Here's how to know the difference. Does she reach out just to talk, or only when she needs something? Does she ask about your day, your goals, your challenges? Does she make an effort to bring value into your life too? If you're always showing up for her, but she rarely shows up for you, you're not in a relationship. You're in a one-sided arrangement. And Stoicism teaches us not to cling to what drains us. It teaches us to value our time, protect our energy, and build bonds that are mutually enriching when she avoids talking about the future. Pay attention. Now let's talk about another red flag. When she consistently avoids serious conversations about the future. Imagine you've been dating for a while. Things seem good, you're investing time and emotion, and naturally you bring up the idea of meeting each other's families or planning a trip. But suddenly she changes the subject, gets busy, or throws out a casual, "let's not rush." Sound familiar? Now, sometimes caution is normal, but if it becomes a pattern, it might mean she's not as committed as you are, because when someone sees a real future with you, they lean in, not back away. Let's be real. If she's always sidestepping these talks, ask yourself why. Is she afraid of commitment, still exploring options, or simply not that into the relationship long term? Whatever the reason, the outcome is the same. She's not aligned with your vision. Clarity over confusion, always. As Marcus Aurelius said, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. And being a high-value man means recognizing when you're being strung along. You don't wait around for someone to figure it out. You lead with purpose, and you expect clarity in return. So here's the real question. Are you okay with staying in limbo? Or are you ready to protect your time, energy, and peace? A woman who values you won't shy away from honest conversations about the future. She'll want to plan, want to build, and want to grow with you. If she's avoiding those talks, she might already have one foot out the door. Lead like a stoic. Love with standards. This is where your stoic mindset comes in. Instead of reacting with frustration, take a step back, zoom out. Assess the relationship not through emotion, but through clarity. Is this relationship adding to your life, or is it slowly draining your emotional energy? As Malcolm X once said, a man who stands for nothing will fall for anything. And when stoic men don't fall, they rise. We don't chase, we choose, and we don't settle for emotional breadcrumbs. We build connections rooted in mutual value and vision. Let's keep the conversation going. What are your thoughts on emotional security and shared purpose in relationships? Have you ever been in a dynamic where your worth was based on what you could offer, not who you are? Drop your story below or simply comment, "I'm choosing clarity." If you're committed to building real, balanced connections, let's rise together, one conversation at a time. Flip the script. What should you do when she avoids commitment? All right, let's flip the script for a moment. You've noticed the signs. She dodges serious talks, avoids defining the relationship, or pulls away any time the future comes up. So what now? Start by addressing it calmly and directly. Ask open-ended, sincere questions like, what do you see for us in the future? Where do you think this relationship is heading? These questions aren't about pressuring her for answers. They're about observing her willingness to engage. Her reaction will speak volumes. If she continues to dance around the conversation, it's a clear sign. Her level of commitment doesn't match yours. Now comes the moment of truth. Do you settle for less, or walk away with your dignity intact? Walking away isn't easy, but remember, as a high-value man, your time and emotional energy are priceless. You don't waste them on uncertainty or emotional breadcrumbs. If this hits home, share your story or simply comment, "I choose growth." Let's celebrate each other's strength on this journey to becoming grounded, powerful, and unshakable. Because real confidence isn't found in clinging. It's in knowing that even if you're alone, you're still whole. And that mindset? It's unstoppable. The hidden red flag. When she keeps bringing up her ex. Here's something subtle, but incredibly revealing. When she frequently mentions her ex. It doesn't always come in obvious ways. Sometimes it slips in under the radar. Why are we eating here? I'd rather go somewhere else. What she's not saying is that somewhere else holds memories with her ex. These little comments, they're not just about preferences. They can be signs of emotional residue, remnants of a past she hasn't let go of, and worse, they might even be an attempt to shape you into someone who better fits her history. A high-value man grounded in Stoic principles knows this isn't just a red flag. It's a map of her unresolved emotions and a direct challenge to his sense of emotional independence. Stoicism isn't emotionless, it's self-control in action. As Epictetus wisely said, it's not what happens to you but how you react to it that matters. If you allow yourself to be drawn into the gravitational pull of her past, you risk losing sight of who you are, your values, your purpose, your peace. So what does a Stoic man do? He doesn't blow up. He doesn't ignore it either. He notices and responds with calm clarity. He communicates respectfully but firmly. He draws boundaries without bitterness. He reminds her and himself that he's not here to be compared. Modern dating demands inner strength. Today's world, powered by social media and blurred boundaries, can distort what healthy love looks like. Many men are taught to bend over backwards to meet every request, to please, no matter the cost. But let's be real, that's not love, that's self-abandonment. And as a high-value man, you don't exist to fix her wounds or carry the weight of her past. You're here to build something present, something real, something mutually fulfilling. Don't compete with her past. Set the standard for her future. If she's still clinging to old memories or drawing comparisons to an ex, that's her battle, not yours. And it's not your job to stick around while she figures it out. A woman who respects you will feel your emotional strength and rise to meet it. But if she keeps dragging the past into your present, take that as a signal. She's not ready for the relationship you're offering. You don't need to raise your voice to raise your standards. You don't need to fight for space in someone's heart that isn't open. And you definitely don't need to compete with a ghost. If she makes you feel guilty for setting boundaries, it's a red flag you can't ignore. Let's talk about something that happens more often than we admit. You express a boundary. Maybe you're uncomfortable with her partying every weekend or wearing something that clashes with your values. Instead of hearing you out, she flips the script. Suddenly you're the problem. She calls you insecure or controlling. And just like that, you're questioning yourself for simply speaking your truth. That's not communication. That's emotional manipulation. A high-value man knows that boundaries aren't about control, they're about mutual respect. You're not trying to restrict her, you're trying to protect something worth building, a relationship rooted in trust, alignment, and values. Let me share a quick story. A friend of mine, sharp, successful entrepreneur, was head over heels for his partner. But every time he opened up about something that bothered him, she'd twist the narrative. She'd guilt-trip him, gaslight him, make him feel like the bad guy. It took time, but he finally saw it for what it was, a cycle that eroded his peace. No amount of love or effort could fix a relationship where his boundaries weren't respected. Here's the truth. When you stop setting boundaries, you start losing yourself. And that's the quickest path to burnout, bitterness, and quiet resentment. Stoic happiness comes from living in alignment with your values. One of the core teachings in Stoicism is simple. Peace comes when your actions reflect your principles. If someone makes you feel small for standing up for what matters to you, they're not just disrespecting you, they're dismantling the foundation of a healthy relationship. So ask yourself this: am I sacrificing my peace just to avoid conflict? Am I trading emotional safety for the illusion of harmony? Because here's the thing, a man who truly values himself doesn't beg for respect. He sets the standard. And the right woman won't just respect your boundaries, she'll admire your strength for having them. Boundaries, self-respect. And any relationship that guilts you into letting go of your standards, that's not love. It's control in disguise. Pay attention. When her compliments come with strings attached. Now let's talk about a sneaky form of manipulation that often flies under the radar. Conditional compliments. You've probably seen it, she says. You're amazing. You're the best at this. Or no one else could handle it like you. And right after, she drops the real reason for the praise. Can you do me a favor this weekend? Sound familiar? Real appreciation isn't a transaction. It doesn't come with a price tag. A woman who truly admires you will express it because she means it, not to soften you up for a favor. High-value men, those who've trained themselves in stoic clarity, can sense the difference. They ask, are her compliments consistent? Does she praise me when there's nothing in it for her? Or is she using flattery as leverage? As Marcus Aurelius said, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. If her words constantly leave you confused, second-guessing, or feeling like you owe her something, you're letting someone else color your self-worth. Stoic wisdom. Validation comes from within. Think back. How many times have you agreed to something just because her praise felt good? How many moments did you confuse flattery with affection? When you live by the Win Stoic code, you stop chasing approval. You stop being moved by every sweet word tied to a hidden agenda. Instead, you learn that real worth comes from within, and that your value isn't up for negotiation. As Epictetus said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. So next time she showers you with compliments, pause. Ask yourself, is she lifting me up because she sees me? Or is she buttering me up because she needs something? Don't let words fool you. Real respect isn't manipulated, it's earned. Sure, it might feel good in the moment to hear sweet compliments or flattery, but a high-value man knows better than to stop at face value. He looks deeper. He understands that actions always speak louder than words. He's not moved by surface-level praise when it's disconnected from real intention. Because here's the truth, genuine connection and mutual respect aren't built on manipulation. They're built on authenticity. Ask yourself this, if the roles were reversed, would your compliments come from the heart or be a tactic to get something in return? This is where emotional independence becomes your greatest asset. By adopting the Win Stoic mindset, you reclaim your power, you stop chasing approval, you start noticing who actually values you and who's simply using charm as a tool. Manipulation loses its power the moment you stop needing validation from anyone but yourself. So, what kind of man are you becoming? The one who gets swayed by pretty words? Or the one who stands firm, sees through the noise and lives by his principles? When you live with clarity and purpose, when you embrace the calm strength of Stoicism, you don't just earn respect, you command it, quietly, powerfully. If this message hits home, type "I don't chase, I attract" in the comments. Not just as an affirmation, but as a reminder of the mindset you're choosing to live by. When she threatens to leave, it's not passion, it's control. Let's talk about a behavior that too many overlook until it's too late. Every time there's a disagreement, she drops the line. Maybe we should break up. I can find someone better. You don't deserve me. Sound familiar? That's not a passionate woman speaking. That's a power play. A calculated move to keep you anxious and off balance. It's emotional manipulation, plain and simple. She's not trying to solve the issue. She's trying to win. These threats aren't just heat-of-the-moment comments. They're strategic. They weaponize your desire for connection against you. And a man who lives by Stoic principles sees it for what it is: emotional instability disguised as drama. In contrast, a woman who genuinely values the relationship will approach conflict with grace. She'll lean in, talk it out, and work toward a solution, not use ultimatums to gain control. Remember, respect and love can't coexist with fear and manipulation. Emotional independence is your superpower. In modern relationships where dating apps, DMs, and situationships blur boundaries, it's easier than ever to get caught in emotional games. That's why vigilance isn't optional, it's essential. When someone repeatedly threatens to leave, they're not exposing your flaws, they're revealing their own insecurity. And this is where you take your power back. Stoicism teaches us that security doesn't come from someone else's promises, it comes from within. As Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. So, no, you can't control how she behaves. But you can control how you respond. A high-value man doesn't beg to stay in a relationship where respect is conditional. He sets boundaries, he protects his peace, and if necessary, he walks away with his dignity intact. Relationships should elevate you, not exhaust you. Let's be real, you're not here for a relationship built on ultimatums, threats, or games. You're here for a connection rooted in trust, growth, and shared values. So the next time you hear, maybe I should just leave, take a step back. Ask yourself, is this healthy? Does this align with the life and values I'm building? If the answer is no, have the strength to walk away. Your time, your energy, your peace, they are priceless. Protect them like the assets they are. Stay grounded, and I'll see you in the next one. 9 emotional stages a woman goes through. During no contact, what every high-value man needs to know. Silence isn't empty, it's full of answers. Ever found yourself wondering what really happens in the silence of no contact? Is it just distance, a break? Or is it the beginning of something much deeper? Welcome back to Win Stoic, the space where we dive into relationships through the lens of growth, inner strength, and timeless Stoic wisdom. Today we're exploring a powerful topic, the 9 stages a woman experiences during no contact, and how you, as a high-value man, can use this time not just to wait, but to transform. Whether you're healing from a breakup, stepping back for clarity, or hoping to reset a past connection, understanding what unfolds on her end is insightful. But more importantly, it's about who you become in the silence, because the no-contact period isn't just about her, it's about you, your growth, your clarity, your self-mastery. If you're ready to uncover what this time really means and how it can become a turning point in your life, make sure to like, comment, and share your journey below. Let's talk about what you've learned through silence and how it's helped you evolve. The power of pulling away. When you take a step back from a relationship, especially one that once brought comfort, routine, even love, it's like flipping a switch off in someone's world. For her, that first phase of no contact hits hard. Suddenly, you're not there. No texts, no calls, no presence. It feels like a shockwave, an emotional earthquake that shakes her foundation. The quiet is loud, and the void you leave behind is impossible to ignore. In that silence, reality starts to settle in. But the first reaction often isn't acceptance, it's denial. This is temporary. He'll reach out soon. This can't be the end. This is her mind's way of protecting itself. A defense mechanism to avoid facing the truth that things might not go back to the way they were. Where Stoicism guides you. This is where Stoic wisdom becomes your anchor. As a man grounded in Stoic principles, you understand one vital truth. Emotions are like waves. They rise and fall, but they aren't within your control. Marcus Aurelius put it perfectly. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Her feelings, her shock, her denial, those are outside events. They're not your responsibility to fix. What is in your control? Your reaction, your patience, your self-respect. And here's the test. When you feel the urge to reach out, to soothe her, to check in, not out of strength but out of discomfort, that's when discipline matters most. Because while you may want to ease her pain, reaching out too soon can rob both of you of the very space needed for growth. Why the silence matters. This space, the quiet between you, isn't wasted time. It's the space where clarity forms, where truth rises, where healing happens. Think of it like this. Ever resisted checking your phone, waiting for that one message? That feeling of restlessness that creeps in? It's uncomfortable, sure, but every time you hold the line, you build emotional strength. You train yourself to sit with discomfort instead of reacting to it. That's what Stoicism is about. Not suppressing emotions, not pretending you don't care, but feeling fully without letting those feelings steer the wheel. In the end, no contact isn't about playing games. It's about gaining clarity. The no contact rule isn't a tactic. It's not punishment. It's a conscious decision to give both sides space to reflect, to grow, to evaluate what really matters. And for the high-value man, it's an opportunity to reclaim power, reset perspective, and rise stronger. So if you're in this phase right now, stay grounded. Resist the pull to break silence out of fear. Lean into the discomfort with courage. Let your peace speak louder than any words ever could. Because in that silence, answers are being written. By her, by you, by time. Not every discomfort needs an instant fix. In moments of emotional intensity, it's easy to believe that every uncomfortable feeling demands an immediate response. But here's the truth. Not all discomfort needs to be solved right away. During no contact, one of the hardest things to do is resist the urge to jump in and fix things for her. Yes, she might be feeling shocked, confused, or hurt, but her emotional journey is hers, not yours to manage or rescue her from. Your role now isn't to soothe or save. Your role is to stay grounded, to hold the line, to trust that time and space will bring the clarity you both need. This is the power of Stoicism in action. By staying committed to inner calm and emotional discipline, you create space for reflection, for healing, and most importantly, for growth. In this silence, there's potential. Potential for both of you to rediscover who you are, separately but stronger than before. And when that happens, it's not force or control that gets you there, it's the quiet strength of self-restraint. If this resonates with you, drop a comment below and type, "I choose to stand firm," to affirm your commitment to your values and emotional independence. The storm within her. At this stage of no contact, her emotions are like a storm at sea, unpredictable, powerful, and constantly shifting. One moment she's angry or frustrated, replaying everything that went wrong. The next, she's overwhelmed by the urge to reconnect. Just one message, she tells herself, could make everything feel normal again. But just as quickly, she pulls away, reminding herself why it ended, convincing herself she's better off without you. It's a cycle, a whirlwind of highs and lows that she's caught in. And here's where the real test begins, not just for her, but for you, your challenge as a stoic man. This is your moment to put your inner strength to the test. Can you stay steady while everything around you feels unstable? Stoicism doesn't mean ignoring your feelings. It's not about pretending nothing affects you. What it teaches is far more powerful. Feel everything, understand what you feel, and choose your response wisely. The Stoics believed that emotions are natural, but they should never be in control of our actions, especially when the outside world feels chaotic. In today's world, filled with emotional triggers, social media, and instant reactions, Stoicism remains deeply relevant. It's a guide to staying centered when everything else feels out of balance. The social media test. Imagine this. She starts posting cryptic quotes or emotional updates on social media. Maybe it's a song lyric, a sad selfie, or a post that subtly or not so subtly points at you. Let's be real, she wants you to see it. Maybe she hopes you'll feel something, react, reach out, and when you do see it, you might feel a wave of emotions, hurt, anger, guilt, confusion. But this is your turning point. This is the exact moment when you choose your path. Will you react out of emotion, or will you pause, breathe, and act from a place of strength? Let Stoic wisdom guide you. Here's where you remember the words of Marcus Aurelius. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. You can't control her emotional waves, but you can control your own. Staying calm, composed, and unshaken isn't being cold or uncaring. It's a sign of maturity. It's emotional leadership. A real-life example. Think of a friend who recently went through a breakup. His ex was emotional, posting online, sending mixed signals, trying to get a reaction. But instead of playing into the drama, he focused on himself. He went for runs, he read books, he built routines that kept him grounded. He didn't ghost her, but he also didn't dance to the rhythm of her emotions. Over time, that choice protected his peace and gave her the space to feel without dragging him into the storm. That's the power of emotional control. That's what it looks like to live with Stoic happiness. Reflect on this now. Take a moment and ask yourself, how do you respond when emotions run high? Do you stay calm, or do you get swept up in the storm? Embracing Stoicism isn't about becoming emotionless. It's about becoming emotionally resilient, unshaken, clear, purposeful. Because when you live by those principles, not just in theory but in practice, you build a foundation that serves you well in every part of life. And that right there is the mark of a high-value man. Strength isn't just in silence, it's in stillness. Let's take a moment to reflect on something simple yet powerful. Every time you stay calm in the chaos, you're not just becoming stronger. You're becoming someone others naturally respect. You're showing the world and yourself what true emotional strength looks like. It's not about being emotionless or distant. It's about holding your ground when everything else is trying to pull you off center. This is what the no-contact journey is really about. It's not about playing games or waiting by the phone. It's about mastering your inner world when the outer world feels unpredictable. So I want to hear from you. How do you stay grounded when emotions run high? Drop your story in the comments, or if you're feeling the message, simply type, I choose to stay grounded. Your voice might just inspire someone else to stand a little taller today. When curiosity kicks in, after the silence stretches out for days or maybe even weeks, something begins to shift. That initial wave of confusion or sadness she felt, it starts to fade, and in its place, curiosity begins to take hold. She starts to wonder, why hasn't he reached out? Is he really doing okay without me? Has he moved on? Or is this silence saying something deeper? These thoughts grow louder as time passes, and in that stillness a new kind of reflection begins. She starts to revisit memories, laughs you shared, tough conversations and quiet moments in between. The relationship starts to play like a highlight reel in her mind. But remember, this reflection isn't just happening for her, it's happening for you too. This stage isn't a waiting game. It's not about hoping she thinks of you. It's a time for you to look inward, to ask yourself the hard, honest questions. Time to look in the mirror. As the Stoics taught us, it is not events that disturb us, but our judgments about them. This is your time to step back and reflect on your own part in the story. Did you clearly communicate your needs or hope she'd just know? Were you emotionally present, or did you sometimes drift away, even if you didn't mean to? Did you let small problems fester instead of facing them head on? Yes, these questions can be uncomfortable, but real growth always begins in discomfort. It's the moment you stop avoiding the mirror and start learning from what you see. That's where your transformation begins. Adjusting your sails. You can't control what she's thinking, you can't speed up her process or guess where her emotions will land, but you can adjust your own sails. You do have control over your mindset, your habits, your growth, and that's where the Stoic path asks you to be patient. The temptation to reach out, to check in, to end the silence, that urge can feel overwhelming. But every time you resist it, you're choosing growth over impulse. You're giving both of you the gift of space, space to think clearly, to evolve, to truly see things as they are. Because this time apart, it's not just empty air, it's a powerful space for transformation, coloring your thoughts. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Woody, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." So here's the question: what colors are you choosing? Are your thoughts rooted in patience, confidence, and self-reflection? Or are they painted with fear, doubt, and anxiety? You get to choose. Every day, every moment, you're shaping the man you're becoming. This is your time. Whether or not the relationship rekindles, this stage will change you both. You'll walk away with a clearer understanding of what you want, what you need, and what you're no longer willing to settle for. And that's the real gift here. This chapter isn't about waiting, it's about evolving. So take a deep breath. Ask yourself, what have I learned about myself in this silence? What role did I play? And how can I grow from it? If you're stepping into this phase with open eyes and an open heart, drop a comment and say, I'm embracing this time for clarity and growth. Because that's what this journey is really about. Not getting back what was lost, but becoming who you were meant to be. When the absence becomes real. As the days go by, something deeper begins to settle in for her. It's no longer just about missing your presence. It's the absence of your energy, your support, and the steady sense of safety you once brought into her life. It's the little things that hit the hardest. The encouraging words when she doubted herself. The quiet strength you offered in moments of chaos. Even just knowing you were there. That kind of presence becomes irreplaceable. And now it's gone. What once felt familiar and comforting is now replaced with silence and space. She starts to realize this isn't just a passing emotion. It's a new reality she has to learn to live with. And in that stillness, something else often surfaces. Regret. Regret and reflection. She might begin to replay moments in her mind, times she cancelled on you for no real reason. Opportunities to connect that were brushed off. Moments where she felt secure but didn't acknowledge the value of what she had. This stage brings those what-ifs to the surface. But while she's busy reflecting on what was lost, your focus should be on something even more powerful: growth, the Stoic man's perspective. As someone walking the path of Stoicism, you understand something fundamental. Nothing in life is permanent. Not emotions, not relationships, not even pain. This isn't about being cold or distant. It's about finding peace in life's natural ebb and flow. Marcus Aurelius said it best: loss is nothing else but change, and change is nature's delight. So instead of clinging to what was, you learn to accept and adapt. You find strength not in controlling outcomes, but in mastering your response to them. This is the heart of emotional resilience. It's what separates those who spiral from those who rise. Your role isn't to wait, it's to evolve. While she may be battling a storm of emotions, uncertainty, longing, fear, You're rooted in something far deeper: purpose, integrity, calm. As Epictetus once said, "He who is calm and of a happy nature will hardly feel the pressure of age." That's because calmness, self-awareness, and inner peace aren't just traits, they're strength in motion. So if you catch yourself wondering, will she come back? Will she realize what she lost? Pause. Take a breath. And remember, those are her questions to answer, not yours to chase. Your energy belongs with the man you're becoming, not the outcome you can't control. Stand like a tree in the storm. Imagine yourself as a strong, rooted tree in the middle of a storm. The wind may howl, the rain may lash, but you remain unmoved, steady, present, whole. That's the power of embracing the Stoic path. Even if she's dealing with regret or fear, you stay grounded in who you are. You no longer seek validation from someone else's realization. You define your worth by your values, your actions, your character. This is how high-value men move, with quiet confidence and unshakable dignity. Stage 5. The fear of losing you for good. Eventually, the silence becomes louder than any words could. It's no longer a break. It's a wake-up call. She starts to truly feel the weight of what's been lost. Not just your presence, but the connection, the bond, the you that made her feel safe. Late at night, questions creep in. Has he moved on? Is he happier now, without me? What if he never comes back? What once felt like a phase now feels like reality, and it shakes her, because the distance isn't just physical anymore, it's emotional, and it's growing. Meanwhile, you've tapped into something deeper. You've found peace, not in her return, but in your own evolution. Your silence isn't a punishment, it's a path to power. This chapter in your journey isn't about waiting for her to figure it out. It's about rising into the man you're meant to be. Let her journey be her own. Let her feel what she needs to feel. You stay rooted in your truth. If this message resonates with you, tap the like button and drop a comment below. Say, I choose growth over outcome. Let's keep this space a reminder that dignity, clarity, and calm don't go unnoticed, and they never go unrewarded. Stage 5. When the fear of losing you becomes real. There comes a moment when she starts to feel it. Not just the absence of your presence, but the slow creeping fear that you're truly slipping away. You're no longer just the man she used to know. You're becoming a memory, fading, distant, no longer part of her daily world. And that thought, it shakes her. She begins to imagine a future where you've moved on, where you've rebuilt your life, where your laughter, your calm strength, your love belong to someone else. These thoughts play on a loop, each scenario more intense than the last. And with every passing day, the silence feels louder, the space between you wider. Eventually, a powerful urge rises within her, a need to act, to reach out before it's too late, to reclaim what feels like it's slipping through her fingers. But here's where Stoic wisdom steps in. As someone grounded in Stoic philosophy, you understand something vital. Emotions, especially fear, should never be the compass that guides your actions. Whether it's her fear or yours, you recognize it for what it is, a fleeting emotion, not a truth. Marcus Aurelius said it best, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. It's easy to get lost in mental stories. What if she's gone forever? What if I never hear from her again? But those are just thoughts, not fact. The mind loves to create drama, especially when silence leaves space to fill. Yet as a Stoic, your strength lies in not reacting to the storm of what-ifs. You don't chase. You don't cling. You don't rush to soothe discomfort. Instead, you stay rooted in the present, in your growth, and in the man you're becoming. Detach from outcome. Embrace the process. You've come a long way, This journey of silence hasn't just been about no contact, it's been about rediscovering you. You've built self-worth, you've cultivated resilience, you've embraced clarity, and whether she returns or not, none of that is undone, because your peace no longer depends on her choices. It comes from within. Yes, she might be flooded with fear and longing. She might wish to rewind time. But you don't move backwards. You've outgrown the version of you she once knew. You've become more centered, more confident, more complete. And if she does come back, she'll find a man who's no longer seeking validation, but standing tall in his truth. If she doesn't, you continue forward, knowing your worth was never tied to her return. The essence of Stoicism today. Modern-day Stoicism isn't about being emotionless. It's about not letting emotions rule you. It's about mastering your mind instead of letting it master you. It's about understanding that peace isn't found in controlling others. It's found in controlling yourself. So as she wrestles with her thoughts torn between pride and vulnerability, you remain unshaken. Not because you don't care, but because you've chosen self-respect over desperation, because you know that true happiness comes not from being chosen, but from choosing yourself. Stage 6. The contemplation of reconnection. Eventually, something shifts. She finds herself checking her phone more often, rereading old messages, wondering if she should finally break the silence. What once felt like independence now feels like loneliness. The quiet no longer brings strength, it brings longing. This is the stage of contemplation where reconnecting becomes more than a thought. It becomes a possibility. She reflects on your history, on what was good, on what she might have lost. And slowly a question forms. Should I reach out? But she's conflicted. There's pride, fear, and hope all wrapped into one. And she wonders, should she act or wait and hope you'll make the first move? But here's where you must pause. As a man on the Stoic path, don't be swayed by her emotions or your own. If she reaches out, don't immediately respond from a place of nostalgia or need. Instead, ask yourself, is this reconnection truly right for me? Is there potential for something healthier, deeper, and more aligned with who I am today? Or am I just reacting to silence, seeking comfort in familiarity? These are the questions that separate men who repeat old cycles from those who grow and evolve. Remember, a high-value man doesn't rush back because someone finally feels the fear of losing him. He pauses, he evaluates, he decides with clarity, not emotion. Your worth is not up for negotiation. Whether she comes back or not, whether she finally sees your value or never does, you remain grounded. Not because you're indifferent, but because you've done the work. You've built a peace that no one else can shake. You've embodied what it means to walk the path of strength, self-mastery, and purpose. If this message resonates with you, let it be a reminder. You are not here to be anyone's second thought or emotional crutch. You're here to rise, evolve, and live with intentionality. Drop a comment below, say, I am growing, if you're committed to staying rooted in your journey. Let's continue this conversation, because real strength isn't in chasing love. It's in becoming someone who never needs to. A true Stoic doesn't rush, he reflects. A man who walks the path of the wind, Stoic doesn't make impulsive choices, he moves with intention. He pauses, he reflects, he listens to the quiet voice within before making any move. As Marcus Aurelius once wrote in Meditations, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. So now it's time to check in with yourself. Are your thoughts rooted in clarity or in desperation? If you're thinking about reconnecting, ask yourself honestly, is it coming from strength or is it coming from fear? This stage of contemplation isn't about reacting to her reaching out. It's about reconnecting with your own truth. Are you truly aligned with the idea of rekindling something, or are you just feeling the sting of silence? Whatever you choose to respond or to stay quiet, make sure the decision reflects who you've become. A man who values his peace over temporary emotions, a man who leads with purpose, not panic. That's the core of being high value. That's the Wind Stoic way. It's about facing the complexities of love and loss with clarity, resilience, and grace. And no matter which path you take, let it speak volumes about your growth. Because at the end of the day, what matters most isn't whether she comes back. What matters is the wisdom you've gained and how you carry it forward. If this resonates, go ahead and like the video. Share it with someone who needs this reminder. Strength is found in stillness. Let's keep this conversation going. Stage 7. Appreciation and acknowledgement. Now we arrive at a powerful shift in the no-contact journey. The stage of appreciation. After the waves of anger, frustration, or even brief relief have faded, she enters a quiet space. And in that stillness, something unexpected happens. She starts to remember, not the arguments, not the silence, but the moments, how you showed up when it mattered, how you listened when she needed it most, the comfort of your consistency, the quiet strength in your presence. All the things she once took for granted begin to rise to the surface with new meaning. What was once ordinary now feels irreplaceable. It hits her. You didn't just exist in her life, you added to it. And now, without you, there's a gap she can't quite ignore. But this isn't just her stage, it's yours too. As she begins to recognize your value, you're doing the same, but in a deeper, more personal way. Gratitude. Through the lens of Stoicism. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Dwell on the beauty of life, watch the stars, and see yourself running with them." True gratitude, Stoic gratitude, isn't based on what you have or don't have. It's about what you've learned, even from pain, even from distance. You've found strength in silence. You've gained clarity on what truly matters in a relationship. You've learned that your worth doesn't need validation. It stands on its own. While she may be realizing what she lost, you've realized what you've gained. Self-awareness, resilience. A renewed sense of independence. And that's powerful, because the goal was never to win her back. It was to become so grounded, so whole, that her return or absence can't shake you. Your peace doesn't hinge on her next move. It's anchored in who you've become. She may now be in a stage of recognizing your value, but you're walking a parallel path, one of steady growth. Even if she expresses appreciation, the real victory lies in the fact that you've learned to appreciate yourself. And that's the kind of treasure no one can take from you. As Epicurus reminds us, he who is not satisfied with a little is satisfied with nothing. And now you've found contentment in the one thing that matters most, yourself. If that speaks to you, drop a comment below and say, "Focus on my goals." Let us know how this journey has shaped you. We're listening and we're walking this path with you. Stage 8. Waiting for your move. Now the ball is in your court. She's been through her emotional whirlwind, confusion, anger, loneliness. And what's left now is a quiet uncertainty. She's wondering, should I break the silence? Or wait for him to make the first move? It's no longer about just emotions. It's about possibility, about whether something real, something lasting, can be rebuilt, or whether it's time to let go once and for all. But the silence lingers. And in that silence, the weight of the decision grows. You're both standing in that space, but only you know the depth of your growth. Only you can decide whether reaching back is a step forward or a return to something you've already outgrown. Right now, she's standing in that space of stillness, waiting, wondering what your next move will be. And on your side of the no-contact journey, this moment, it's huge, because the pull to reach out can feel intense. Your mind starts racing. What if she's slipping away? What if I don't reach out and it's too late? But here's where your stoic mindset becomes your compass. In moments like this, when emotion threatens to hijack your logic, Stoicism reminds you to pause, to breathe, to act not from panic, but from purpose. Restraint is power. Modern Stoicism, just like the ancient practice, is rooted in one core idea. Restraint is a superpower. It's easy to react when you're hurting, to send that message, make that call just to quiet the anxiety. But before you reach for your phone, ask yourself, is this move coming from a clear mind or just a desire to escape the discomfort? A stoic man knows how to sit with the silence. He allows himself to feel without being ruled by emotion. Picture this. You're at a cafe, you're sipping coffee. A song plays or a memory flashes, and suddenly you miss her badly, her laughter. That one time you both couldn't stop smiling, it all comes rushing back. And just like that, the urge to reconnect hits hard. But instead of acting on it, you pause, you reflect. You ask yourself, am I reaching out because I'm clear or because I'm afraid of losing her? That moment of restraint? That's growth, modern-day Stoicism in action. Let me tell you a quick story. A friend of mine had just gone through a breakup and decided to go no contact. Weeks passed. Just when he started feeling stable, she texted him. It would have been easy to respond immediately, but he didn't. Instead, he took a long walk. He reflected. He thought about their past and asked himself, am I ready to open that door again, or am I just missing the comfort? He didn't avoid the conversation. But when he finally responded, it was on his terms, with clarity, not emotion. That's not playing games, that's being intentional. This stage isn't about who texts first, it's about who has done the inner work. Whether you reach out or choose to continue forward alone, do it from a place of strength, not scarcity. Let your actions reflect the man you've become. Ask yourself, am I walking into a new chapter? Or am I just craving what's familiar? Because that difference matters. A stoic man isn't afraid of the silence. He finds contentment in his choices. He knows his peace is rooted in purpose, not people. And no matter what happens, you'll know you acted with intention. You stayed true to your values. And that's unshakable. If this message resonates with you, go ahead and hit like. Share it with someone who needs this reminder. Dignity is never found in desperation. It's built in silence. Let's keep this conversation going and dive deeper into what it really means to live with stoic strength. Stage 9. Reconnection and positive growth. Reconnecting. After no contact is a delicate step. It's not just a chance to talk again, it's a chance to redefine everything. If she's reaching out now, it likely means she's taken the time to reflect, to realize what your presence brought into her life. But this doesn't mean you jump back in full force. This isn't a race, it's a rebuild. And what you've done in the meantime, how you've grown, matters more than ever. You've used this silence to sharpen yourself, to strengthen your mind, to build boundaries, to truly understand your worth. That's what it means to be a high-value man. Reconnection requires intention. A relationship's strength doesn't come from how badly two people want each other. It comes from how stable they are individually. Now there's a real opportunity here, not just to rekindle, but to evolve. If both of you have done the work, this could be the beginning of something far better than before. But be careful not to lose yourself in the excitement. Remember what Marcus Aurelius said, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. So ask yourself, what did this time apart teach me? Which triggers have I learned to manage? What kind of relationship am I actually ready for? Move with clarity, not hope. Alone, reconnection should never be about going back to what was. It should be about stepping into what could be, with open eyes. Have the conversation, but make it honest. Lay it all out, what worked, what didn't, and what needs to change. This time, you're not acting out of loneliness. You're moving with wisdom. And that's the result of doing the inner work. In the end, reconnection is just one part of the journey. The real win, becoming the man who no longer seeks validation because he already knows his value. If you're feeling this, drop a comment. I choose clarity. Let us know where you're at in your journey. We're in this together. Redefine the relationship with clarity and courage. Now that you're standing at the threshold of reconnection, it's time to explore what truly needs to shift. What has to change, not just between you both, but within you. This isn't just a conversation with her. It's a moment of radical honesty with yourself. Ask, are we both truly ready to face the issues that pulled us apart? Have we genuinely grown from this experience, or are we just craving familiarity? Use this space to set clear boundaries and expectations moving forward. Remember, compromising your core values or your self-respect is never the price of love. Keep your peace. Lead with reason. Stoic philosophy teaches us to stay grounded, especially when emotions run high. It's not about denying how you feel, it's about making decisions from a place of clarity, not chaos. If she's genuinely open to doing the work, if she recognizes the lessons from this time apart, then yes, there's a real chance to rebuild something better. But this new connection shouldn't be a rewind to what once was. This is about designing a healthier dynamic, one that honors the growth you've both experienced, one built on mutual respect, renewed appreciation, and emotional strength. As Winston Churchill once said, to improve is to change. To be perfect is to change often. That evolution, it's not optional, it's essential.